Hey guys, welcome to another video. In this video, we'll be solving a program that generates random numbers between 0 and 200. So let's start. The first line is import java.util.random, or you could write java.util.asterisk. Now what asterisk basically means is that if I add asterisk over here, let's see. So if I add asterisk over here, so it basically imports all the subpackages within util. Now, another note to the viewer that this is the subpackage of util, and util is a subpackage of Java. So Java is the main package over here, and all of these are subpackages. Okay, class random, and then you are initializing a class random over here, random one, brackets to start a new block of code in the program. And then you have the mandatory public static void main string arguments. Then you have brackets to start another block in the program. And then you have int counter. So the fourth line basically indicates that the variable counter is being initialized over here. Random random is equal to new random. So this is basically a class initialization of random class, which is in the random, which is in the util package. So you have java.util.random class, and what random class, which is inside the util subpackage of the main package, which is Java. So this generates a stream of pseudo numbers. So what pseudo numbers basically means is that any, so if you take 0 to 10, so it will generate numbers between 0 to 10. Say for example, 2, 3, 9, 7, and it also depends on the int in the data type. So say, for example, over here, I have assumed that the output would be int. And if I have to say, as you may have observed in the 10th line, I have written it as next int, because if I tell the program that the range is from 0 to 200, so it will assume that I have to generate random numbers between 0 to 200. So it will give me 193, 56, 45. But I have instructed the program to give me output which have data type int, as I have specified over here next int. Now, if I add next double, so it will give me outputs like these: 196.3542 till the custom range of a double data type, and then it will give me 2.7735. So outputs like these. Okay, let's clear the program. So this is basically the function of a random class, and random is the variable that is assigned to the random class. And this is a unneeded part of a program. And the most important thing of a program is that when you have written a statement in a Java program, then you have to end it with semicolon. So if you have ended a statement, so you have to end it with a semicolon, or else it will throw you syntax error. Okay, then we have system.out.println. So this code, system.out.println or system.out.print. So the difference between println in the sense println, which stands for println, and then you have print without the ln. So in print, if you write system.out.print, it will print the output in the same line. But if you add ln or line in this snippet of code, then it will give the output. So if you write, say for example, if you write dog and cat in separate system SOP and SOP codes. Now at the end of the SOP part, if you add ln in this case, so it will give you the output as dog and cat in separate lines. But if you remove the ln, so it will give you the output as dog and cat without any spaces in the same line. So that is a basic difference. So you have system.out.println random numbers. So anything that you write inside double asterisk will be printed on the terminal window without any alteration. So the exact same thing will be written on the terminal window, and the program will not use it to, so say for example, if you, I'll just give you an example. So say for example, if you write, I'll just erase this part of the program. So if you write 1 plus 1 inside the double asterisk itself, so I'll just show you the output. Okay, so we have Java C random1.java. And for all those of you who are using Sublime Text, so you have to use a built-in Microsoft compiler. So if you're using BlueJ, so you'd have the terminal window already inbuilt in the BlueJ software and not Microsoft. So Java C random1.java. So no syntax error or error of any sort. Java random1. So in the next line, if there is no error in the program, so you have to remove the C, which stands for compiler, and the .java. Press enter, and you would see over here it's written 1+1. So the program, anything that's written within the asterisk in the SOP snippet of code won't be executed by the program. It will just be printed as it is on the terminal window. So we have to write random numbers. Okay, let's save it. And shortcut for saving is Control S. Now let's move on to the seventh line, which is basically initialization of a for loop. So in a for loop, you have for. So you have for, and then you have int counter, in this case, is equal to 1, and semicolon is important. So in a for loop, you have basically two semicolons, 1 and 2. So in this case, so I'll just mark this as case 1, case 2, and case 3. So in case 1, you have the initialization of the variable. So in this case, I'll just erase this part of the program. We won't need this. Okay. So in this part of the loop, you have initialization. Now, if you haven't initialized the counter variable earlier, so if I erase this part of the program, so I have to write int over here. But as I've already initialized it earlier, so I don't have to initialize it again and again. So you have variable initialization over here. You end it with a semicolon, and then you start the next statement, but you don't click enter. It is in the same line itself, line 7. And then you have the condition that counter is smaller than equal to 5. So say, for example, if the starting point is mentioned over here as 1, so it will continue. The numbers that will be entered by the program and checked by the program will identify whether the number is equal to or less than 5. If the condition is true, then it will keep on repeating the loop again and again. But if it is false, then it will stop. So if you have 1, it is smaller than 5. If you have 2, it is smaller than 5. If you have 3, which is smaller than 5. You have 4, which is smaller than 5. And then you have 5, which is equal to 5. And then you have 6, which is neither smaller than 5 nor equal to 5. So the program will stop abruptly, but it will not print 6. So this will be your final output. And this will not be a final output, but this is basically the program just self-checking. And then you have counter plus plus. So this is the increment decrement. So if I add counter plus 2, so that will give me the output as 1. And what is 1 plus 2, 3. 3 plus 2, 5. And this will be a final output, 1, 3, 5. Because the increment over here, you've incremented the counter variable by 2. But in this case, because it is plus plus, so plus plus basically means plus 1. But you don't write it as plus 1. You could, but basically the accepted norm is that you write plus plus itself. So let's move on to the 8th line, and then you have the SOP or system.out.println snippet of code. And if you have to print an output on the terminal window or the output window, so system.out.println is mandatory to use. And then we have rnum. So rnum is basically the name that is given to the random class initialization over here. And rnum is basically storing the reference address of the random object. And then you have random.nextInt 200. Now this will basically say that this will basically act as a range limit. So you don't have to write 0 to 200, you just write 200. So 0 is already identified by the program to be the lower limit of the random number generation series, and whatever you write inside the as an argument will be the upper limit of the random number generation program. So if I write 1000 over here, if I write 1000 over here, or 10,000 for that matter, and if I save it, Control S, and I compile it, So it will give me values between 0 and 10,000. So you have 85297033, etc. But if I write, say if I write 20, and if I run the program again, so it will, I'll just share the output screen. So it will give me random numbers from 17, 10, 6, 3, 11. Earlier, I had mentioned to the program that the upper limit of the random number generation series is 10,000. So it will give me numbers between 0 and 10,000. But now it is between 0 and 20. So it will generate me random numbers between 0 and 20, 17, 10, 6, 3, 11. Okay, let's move on to the program. So you have system.out.println rnum.nextEnd. Now, if you want the program to give you random numbers between 0 and 20, and you want it in double, if you want it in double data type. So you have int data type, which is basically numbers like 1, 2, -1, -2, basically integers. And you have double data type, which is basically 1.1034, 17.6032. So if you want these types of data type outputs, so you could write, instead of int, you could write double over here, and it will give you the necessary output. So that brings us to the end of this video. I hope you learned and enjoyed this video. This video will be uploaded on this channel, IsEqualTo Klasses Shivan. So be sure to check this video out. Stay home, stay safe, take care, and I'll see you in the next video.